Well, with our promotion to the Championnat National, or the National as I think it's now known, we're up against some pretty good teams, a couple of which are professional. We've managed to pay off that huge loan we took out 3-4 years ago. We're no longer paying out €500,000 a month, not that we were bringing in anything close to €500,000 a month. And then, I thought last year's summer transfer schedule was just annoying as hell. Then this year's summer transfer schedule came around. It was not fun at all. But we should have a pretty fun live com for you today. My name's FM19, and this is the Ritornu of Gloria with SC Bastia, episode 17. So we're starting here. These are released players. Samuel Otsukun, John Paul Lanzini were both youngsters who just weren't going to make it. Ludovic Jeunesse didn't want to re-sign here. Gilles Sioni wanted to re-sign here, but he wanted an obscene amount of money for a guy of his failing skills, and I said no. The kicker is about 3 weeks after we let him go, we had his testimonial, which he actually showed back up for. And that was a little bit embarrassing. Those are the release players. And this is our summer transfers. I kid you not. I could not make this up if I tried. Matthias Rein left on a free to FC Villefranche. I knew that in February when he signed the contract. Jean-Louis Carlotti is on loan at AS Friuli, which is where my assistant coach from last year is now the head coach. Jason Madu, who I really wanted to keep, who had a really good season for us last season. Clermont came in with an unsolicited offer of €70,000, and he said he really wanted to go. And I bumped them up to €100,000. They said sure, and out Jason Madu went. On the ins. First in, John Joseph Mizrazi. Depth at center back, 27-year-old, 2-star current ability, 2.5-star potential ability. Pretty good physicals. The mentals, they're okay where they count. The technicals, frankly, they're not all that good. But you know what? He agreed to come here, and that puts him head and shoulders above everybody else I went after this offseason. I kid you not. At least 200 players I either invited on trial or I made contract offers to, and almost to a man, they said no. And the couple of transfers that I actually did make that the club agreed to, because I actually have a decent transfer budget for this level of football, the players said no. SC Bastia isn't big enough, or we don't have the money. And I know that's not the case. I know I have the money. As a matter of fact, how do I know I have the money? This is how I know. We've got a €22,000 payroll budget. I'm spending $14,000. I've got plenty of money to spend. I just can't convince anybody to come here. Next in, Enzo Ingalernera. Enzo. Also on a free, 20-year-old, 2.5-star current ability, 4-star potential ability, defensive left back. Nice physicals. The mentals, okay, the 4 determinations on the low side, but I got him in a mentoring group. Hopefully that'll kick up. His technicals, they're pretty good where they count. I like the 11 passing. The 11 tackling is nice. The 8 marking is a little bit low. One of the other things I like is that he can play anywhere on the left side to varying degrees of capability, but in a league where you can only have 5 on the bench and sub in 3, that's useful. Ricardo Farkas is someone my new general manager suggested. It's from Romania, 20 years old, 2.5-star current ability, 4-star potential ability, defensive center back. Pretty good physicals, nice mentals except the determination. Again, I've got him in a mentoring group. Hopefully that'll pick up. The technicals, he's not horrible at any one thing that matters. He's solid. You know, the 12 marking, the 17 tackling is absolutely brilliant. He's my best tackler. Probably he's not going to get a lot of playing time right away, but he will see starts this season. And then Stephen Laval, who was the lone player we had last season, is also in this season. In other news, our reserve team is back in the National 3, which is good because I had a plan last offseason, which was to take all of my older youth players, and let me sort this by age, all of my older youth players and the guys that weren't going to be full-time starters and put them on the reserve team. And so far, they're doing really well. They played 4 games, they've won 2, they've drawn 1, they've lost 1, they've scored 9 goals, they've let in 3. I've got a decent head coach, I've got a decent assistant coach there. The nice thing is they're getting first team playing time against some decent players, so hopefully they will improve. My under-19 squad, if I sort by I'm going to sort by ability. A lot of potential here. A couple players are actually getting first team playing time. Gresh Angelini got a start last game. I suspect going forward, as these 15 and 16-year-olds become 16 and 17-year-olds, they will see more first team playing time, especially probably near the end of the season. I suspect these 5 right here, Brigado, Blanchard, Maltese, Angelini, and Mariano, aren't going to go to the reserve squad. They'll make the jump directly from the youth squad into the first team. Probably Istria as well. Actually, you know what? Let me sort by potential. Yeah, there's going to be a few players getting first team playing time. Our current squad, not a lot changed from last season. Just the new guys coming in, mostly as backup players. Well, as you can see, we're only a few games into the season. I had a very, very busy offseason. I wanted to get the guys as much playing time as possible, get them healthy and match fit. We played a ton of friendlies, and we did pretty well. Some really solid performances. The Sioni testimony against Bastia EF was a little bit disappointing in that we only had 1,800 fans there. I would have thought we had more, but it is what it is. I'm going to pull up the spreadsheet here real quick. Now, I've got a separate video coming out about the spreadsheet and what I've done to it and that. This is something I've added in. I found it on another spreadsheet. I wish I could remember who I got it from. If by chance you're watching this and you recognize it as yours, let me know. I'm more than happy to attribute this to you. This over here in column M are the teams in the National. Last season, this is where they finished. This is their projected finish by the pundits this season over here. As you can see, Nort, Châteauroux, and Grenoble are the 3 toughest teams this year. And this is something I decided on my own. How tough are these teams going to be to play? And I broke it down, gave each of them a weight, broke that down in the strength of schedule. This is cool in that I've got a couple formulas going on here where it takes the strength of schedule, compares it to the team, and then color codes it depending on the value. So as an example, if I thought Stade Lavallois was if I thought Stade Lavallois was a bottom of the league team this year, and I changed that to a 0, it would turn green. And that feeds in to this column over here. When I make these changes over here, like as an example, I'm going to take Niort, change that to a 0. You'll notice Niort 0. So this number here, this column here, the R column, feeds into the J column. And then the color code of the team in B is based on the value in J. That's just to, in case anything happens. I'm keeping track of the away and homes, my results, my points. Looking at the past 10 years of, in real life, the Championnat National, and I keep calling it that. I think it's the National now with the reorganization. But when I first started playing Football Manager, my first big save that I was really invested in was with USL Dunkirk, as I mentioned in the past in the series. And so I keep calling it the Championnat National. Anyhow, historically, you needed 40 points to stay out of the relegation zone in the Championnat National. There's 34 games played, 41 points, and because you need 40 points, I bumped it up by 1 just to be on the safe side. Divided by 34 is 1.2 points per game played. Start out with 1, add it up, keep going. At the end of the season, if you average 1.2 points a game, you're going to finish with 40.8 points. I got a running point total going. I'm actually going to add some conditional formatting to this here, where if the number in your running points total is greater than your points needed, if it's green, if it's less, it's going to be red, and that way you can kind of track and see where you are. This right here is actually pretty cool. It's the number of days between matches. Now the nice thing is, as changes to the schedule are made, I can just copy and paste. Well, I can't just copy and paste. There's a little editing I have to do on the side in terms of cleaning up the date and stuff like that. But that doesn't take too long. But anyhow, as you know, if we go into the Coup de France pretty far, or in future seasons, knock on wood, when we're in League 1 or League 2 and we're playing in the Europa League or something like that, I can build my schedule in and see how many days I have between matches. I have it set up now currently that if I have less than 4 days between matches, that goes red. If I have more than 9 days, it goes green. And that lets me know I have a decent amount of time in between these games. I can either A, take it easy on the training, B, kick up the training, or C, schedule it friendly, or D, some combination thereof. The other thing I've done is a strength of schedule guesstimate in terms of how strong I think these teams are. Because there's 34 games in the season, and breaking the season up into quarters, you get 2 8s and 2 9s. So I've got an 8 and 9, an 8 and 9, and just totaling up how strong I think the teams are. 14 points this first quarter, 12 points the second quarter, 15 points the third quarter, 11 points the fourth quarter. And looking at this, where you see a lot of red close together, you know that's going to be a tough run. Where there's a lot of green and yellow close together, you know that's going to be fairly easy. So this midseason here is actually fairly easy because there's a decent amount of green and yellow there. Same here. I got 5 games right here where 4 of them should be fairly easy opponents. Knock on wood. We'll see how this works. I'm also tracking my points away from home and my points from home. That feeds into this here, which actually feeds into what I need for next season. It's a whole thing. The spreadsheet's growing by leaps and bounds. I got an episode coming out about it. Probably, well, maybe before this one. It depends on how the editing goes this weekend. But that's what's going on with the spreadsheet. That's what's going on with the schedule. Today, we are playing QRM, also known as Quevilly-Rouen. I think it's Quevilly-Rouen. Yep, Quevilly-Rouen. They are one of the professional teams in the league. They've got a pretty good squad. It's going to be a very good test for us. So I'm going to double check my best 11, set the reserves, and we're going to come back with the game against Quevilly-Rouen in just a bit. But we are away at QRM today, and we are playing, I'm calling this a 4-3-3. Adriani in goal, Enzo, Johan Grash, Angelini, Mary, and Fofana as the defensive back 4, Roncaglia as the defensive midfielder behind Parent and Doumbia, Bezecourt and Santini up top as the attacking midfielders, and Boris Bell as the striker. So Jean-Paul Gresh Angelini is getting the start at defensive center back today. He is one of my youth players, and my assistant manager keeps on suggesting him for the starting 11. I figure, why the heck not? He's one of my, according at least to my assistant manager, he's my second best defensive center back. 16 years old, 2.5 star current ability, 5-star potential ability, already 6'2". He's improving by leaps and bounds. 17 bravery is nice. The 15 decision's nice. The 10 determination is pretty good too. 11 teamwork, 11 vision, 13 tackling, 9 marking. The guy is, if he's not a French under 21 in the next couple of years, I'm going to be highly, highly surprised. And given that he's getting a decent amount of first team playing time, he should be improving even more. Corner kick in, Cantrell. Oh, Vian scores the header. That was kind of weak there, guys. Is that Angelini? 22? We'll have to check that out next time. 22 was Roncaglia. I just realized I didn't go over our first 3 games and how well we did. Ah, good grief. Well, a fairly even game so far. QRM's had 5 shots, 3 on target. We've had 5 shots, 2 on target. They've had the 1 goal off the set piece. We're going to have to do better in the half, guys. I'm not quite sure what Boris Bell is doing taking a shot from all the way out there, but, whatever works. 60 minutes in, not a lot going on. You know what? We've got a couple guys on yellows. We're going to get them off. Well, we'll get one of them off anyways. We're going to swap the formation up a little bit. So Sheikh Doumbia is going to come off. Laval's going to come on for him. We're switching to our 4-2-3-1. We're going to move Bezecourt to the central. We're going to move Bezecourt to the attacking mid to the center. We're going to move Laval back as the Mazzala. Diallo is going to come on at the attacking midfielder left. Only 1 chance the second half. Santini sends it in, knocked out. He runs it down, up to Gresh Angelini, to Boris Bell. Bounces it off a QRM player, back to Gresh, to Laval, back out to Boris Bell. He crosses it in, Bezecourt's there. Nice. Nice through pass by Laval. Oh, very nice by Boris, or by Bezecourt rather, sneaking in between the two defenders there. We're going to go back to balanced. And well, we're going to play for the draw. I'm happy with the draw. It's against QRM. They're the #1 team in the league at the moment. That's a good result for us. Bezecourt out to Diallo. Crosses it in towards Santini, who heads it, and I think that goes out of bounds for a goal kick. This should be it here, and it is. Nice. Way too many yellow cards. 5 yellow cards. Come on, guys. But we'll take a draw. A draw's nice. A draw's good. We rescue a late draw. Mabai is close to making 30 appearances. We'll get a little bit of money off of that. The roundup. Not so bad. League table-wise, we are at 8th. We've won 1 and we've drawn 3. Let me show you that. I can't believe I missed that the first time around. Our first game was against Stade Lavallois, and we drew with them 0-0. We were then home against Dunkirk, and that was also a 0-0 draw. We were then home against US Quevilly-Rouen, who I thought was going to be one of the tougher teams this year. Well, they're in that blue division of the upper part of the table, and then the 1-0 draw, and then the 1-1 draw against QRM just now. So, the goal this year is to avoid relegation. Thus far, we're doing well. We're supposed to be on 4.8 points right now. We're sitting at 6. We're doing well. The transfer window closes in a couple of days. I do have a decent amount of players here on trial, mostly defensive backs. I literally invited 60 of them. These are the only ones that showed up. And to be honest, they're not really all that good. I don't know. It's getting to the point where I'm giving up on the transfer window. We're just not going to get anybody in, and at least this season. I think if we do well this season, maybe next season we can start getting some players with quality in. But at this point, let me go back to my squad view here. At this point, as you can see, from about Kevin Pelplease up, they're all 2-star current ability to 3-star current ability players, and the vast majority of them are at least 4.5 to 5-star potential players. Push comes to shove, I'm happy playing these guys and getting them experience. Yeah, they're young, and yeah, I may be putting them out there for other people to poach, but I'm going to stay on top of these guys. Sign them long-term contracts, get the options on them if I can. We should... the past couple of youth intakes, they said they've been golden generations. I'd like to see how true that is. I know we have some very good players here, and I think a couple of years from now, they could be the backbone of us going from League 2 to League 1. Fingers crossed. We'll see how that works. Some potential changes. Well, not potential changes. Obvious changes coming up to the spreadsheet as well. Just some graphical stuff to help me out. It's a bit of ways away, but I think we're going to come back for the French Cup 5th round. Get these games in between out of the way. It's also into the second quarter of the season. We'll know where we stand, see how we're doing points-wise versus expected points. And then, we have a decent amount of time here as well, so we can get some friendlies in, maybe make a little bit of money. We're just going to have to keep scouting and searching. With regards to scouting, I still have not bought any packages yet. We have an €18,000 budget, but the problem is a national budget's €1.1 thousand a month, and a youth package is €2.3 thousand a month. So if I was to get both of them, that'd be €3.4 thousand a month times 6 months is our budget. And seeing as how it doesn't look like I'm getting anybody in on the transfer window, if I was to adjust this somehow, you know what? We may just do that. You know what? That's what we're going to do. We're going to lower our transfer budget, increase our scouting budget, and we're going to get, this says 27.5 and 13. 27.5. Okay, we'll get this one. And that one, that's going to be 28 and 1341, so we need to bump this up a little bit more. 47, and we're good. So yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to get these, as I'm not going to run my mouse here, we're going to get these games out of the way, come back for our French Cup 5th round game. Told the board we reached the 10th round of the French Cup this year and a mid-table finish. So far, so good. We'll have to see how things hold out. If you like what you saw and heard, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more content, questions, criticisms, comments, leave those down below. My name's FM Jellico, and I thank you for watching the Return Out Gloria with SC Bastia, episode 17.